morning and welcome to Rose Red Homestead Micro Moment Monday. And today we're going to talk about the cobblestone that is the charcoal for the Cobb Grill. We by now know that many of you have the Cobb cooker. Many of you had it before we ever introduced it on our channel, and many more of you purchased it. And probably like us, you are trying to figure things out, and so are we. And we are by no means experts yet. We need a lot more practice, but we are cooking on the Cobb every chance we possibly get. We've already cooked on it, I don't know, 5 or 6 or 7 times, even once for guests, and we're going to be doing that again next week as well. And in any case, we have learned a lot about the cobblestone. In my conversation with the president of Cobb America, he was really encouraging me to try the cobblestones. I was reluctant because they cost about $3.60 a piece, depending on where you get them. And that is compared to 38 cents for 8 pieces of charcoal that you can also cook with. Now, I've had good experience and not so good experience with both the cobblestone and the charcoal. And that's part of what we're going to be sharing with you today. We're going to cover how to use it. In other words, how we can make it work for us instead of us working for it, and then how we can reuse it. Now, in my conversations with the president, as we were bantering back and forth about the cobblestone, we were kind of joking about it because I told him how reluctant I was to use something that was that expensive. He said, "Pam, you will love the cobblestones. You'll just love them." And he's right, I do. They are fantastic. They're made of coconut and compressed coconut. Here is one. One came with our set. And I thought actually it was 2, but no, it's just one great big old brick of charcoal. And it burns just almost completely clean. There's very little ash left after it's gone. Now, one of the things that I did was to go up on their website after our conversation and read what others had said about the cobblestone. And everybody loves the cobblestones. They make a great fire. It's hot, it is even, and it works well. The caveat that most of them expressed about the cobblestone was that it burns 2.5 hours or so, and that often is way too long for what they have to cook. And they were wishing that it was smaller, or that somehow or other they could conserve after they had used it. And so I talked to the president about that, and he said, well, you just let it burn out, or you can just put it out with water and just pour water over it. And I said, oh, great. So after it dries, you can put it out in the sun and let it dry. Then can you reuse it? And he said, oh, no, they're not reusable. Well, those of us that know a little bit of science about how fire works, we have defied that. And in fact, we have figured out a way to reuse it, and I'm sure some of you have already figured out this as well. So we have this little paint can that when the lid is tight, no air can get in. And for years, I have been throwing charcoal in here that is only partially used and put the lid on tight, and then it extinguishes the flame because flames cannot burn without oxygen. So I just thought that I would do the same thing with the cobblestone. These 2 pieces are the remnants of the first cobblestone that came with our original purchase. And we have reused these. Now you can see that it once was all together, and this piece is missing, and that's because it has been completely consumed. But when I was talking to the president, he said, well, you can cut them in half or even in quarters, and they burn hot. They just won't burn as long in smaller pieces. And well, that makes sense, of course. And so I figured out how to break them because they're not scored so that you can easily break them at all. But I'll show you how I've done it. And then we used the 2 quarters, the other one and this one that made up 2 quarters, and we cooked 2 hamburgers and 2 steaks on different days. And then after each burn, we would put it in the can and close the lid to preserve the rest, and there's still quite a bit here. And then we use the other chunk of this to help along pork tenderloin that we had started with charcoal, and it needed a little boost, and so we put the other piece of the cobblestone in, and boy, that just took care of it. With this one, I have baked one loaf of bread, and I bet that I could bake another loaf of bread. This lasted an hour and 10 minutes, and there's still a lot of the cobblestone still left on this. And so just putting it in a can or any kind of a device that you may have that keeps air out and is safe to put burning objects in, you can do the very same thing. So what we're going to do now is show you how to use it and then what we do when we put it in. So the president sent us a thank you gift box with a few more accessories after so many people on our channel had purchased the kitchen in a box from their website. And we had no idea that that was going to happen. And so many of you could see the value in the Cobb as well. And we think it is a great, great piece of equipment. And we're learning more about it all the time. So this is only our second one that I have opened. I'm going to show you now how we break it. So I just have this rusty old saw from the garage, and I'm going to score it. So you can see that it's scored right here, and then I'm going to smack it on the edge here. And it doesn't always break even, but that's not too bad. And then if I wanted to break it again, I could score it there and do it again. And so now I have chunks that will give me less time than the 2.5 hours, although this half burned for an hour and 10 minutes and gave me a full cook on a loaf of bread. And mathematically, it should have only gone for about an hour and 15 minutes, but I still have all this chunk left. So that's a good thing. Now, I'm going to show you how to light these. We didn't find these to be as easy as they were advertised to be, that you just hold the torch on it for a few minutes, and we use this device. This is a little kitchen torch that attaches to butane fuel. And then this is a quick light, supposedly, and it's supposedly just a few seconds. Let me get this going. All right, so that is smoking. One of the great advantages of the cobblestone is that it will smoke like this. I've even had it catch fire and flame like this for just a few minutes, and once that smoke is gone, after 3 to 5 minutes, it's ready to cook. And that is far faster than charcoal is. Now, one of the things that we have found serendipitously is that our charcoal chimney fits right over the top and will help protect from the wind and give it the same advantage as if we were starting it inside the chimney that is made for starting charcoal. So we'll let that catch and stop smoking, and then we'll be back. All right, so almost immediately after we turned the camera off, the smoke went away, and it is now up over 300 degrees. I had the limit set for 313, so it's already very, very hot, and you could start cooking on it right now, and it has been less than 5 minutes. So that is certainly the advantage of the cobblestone over over charcoal. Now what I'm going to do is put this right in here because it's hot and it's burning, it's using oxygen, and I'm just going to, and what I generally do is just put it on a flat surface and then just step on it like this. And that shuts off the oxygen in there, so it will put that out. And most likely in a minute, the sides of the can are going to go so they have every time. All right, just like that. So now, supposing that I'm going to use a used piece, a previously used piece. And so here's this half. Will it start the same way? No, it won't. The fast start chemical, whatever that is, or substance, I'm not sure what it is, has been used up with the first light. So now this becomes just like a piece of charcoal. And so what we will do here is I have 3 cotton balls right there that are just smeared with a little bit of Vaseline. And now it's going to take a few minutes for this to light. But once it lights, and with the other one too, with the brand new ones, it gets red hot in the center of all of those holes that are in it, and it produces really great heat. And so this will heat up, and we will be able to use it again for another cook. So that is the very great advantage of the cobblestones and how you can use them and reuse them. Now, are we going to be a great customer for Cobb by purchasing a whole lot of cobblestones? No, we're not. The price is prohibitive for us. We're very frugal. We have a good storage of charcoal that will take us through what we need to have happen with cooking outdoors in the event of a grid down situation that lasts for a really long time. But I'm very grateful to know about the cobblestones. We will have a few, and we can break them in pieces and use them as part of a cook too. That will also help burn hot and longer and much more evenly. So as you can see, this is catching fire now, and as soon as the cotton balls burn out, this will be lit and will be ready to use and to cook. So figuring out ways that we can be very frugal in the use of fuel, I think, is a very important skill for us to have as we face a possibility of maybe having to cook for a long period of time off grid. And so if that should happen, all of us are going to be very protective of every little piece of fuel that we can get our hands on. And so knowing how to use the cobblestones in a much more efficient and effective way, it will be worth our time. So I hope this is helpful to those of you that have the Cobb. And you don't have to have a Cobb Grill in order to buy the cobblestones if you want to use them in your the grill that you already have. They are worth checking out. Just if you are ready to pay for the expense of those. So thanks for being with us. Hope this has been helpful, and we'll see you again next week for another Micro Moment Monday.